Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Oh, welcome to the commentary zone. As you come in, please don't forget to give us a like. Today we're talking about the Southern Charm Season 7, Episode 12, Reunion Part 2. Long awaited. This should be the final wrap up of everything. What did you
Yes.
think about the show?
This one was really good. Like, I wish we could have just bypassed the season and gone straight to reunion. But I know that's not possible.
Yeah, like they finally perked up for the reunion. And we'll give them a pass for the pandemic while
Oh
they
yeah.
were filming.
And
But
Cameron quitting, so
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
whole so yeah. But they made
And
up for it part of it in the reunion, though. I have to give credit where credit's due.
let's give the credit to Craig. Craig was like the match to all of these little bombs that he planted. Craig was, and his hair, as you said, were the MVP of
MVP.
this.
Like he was lit and his hair was just MVP. That's just what it is.
He was so drunk. Oh my God.
It was just too funny. Andy
He
was like,
was so
Andy was like,
drunk.
sit back, relax. That was just too funny.
So part two opens up with the boys needing to go to the facilities, the restrooms, um, which winds up into taking a 5-minute break, which I saw no one go to the toilets. They were drinking beer.
Right. I was like, okay.
So this is how we're going. All right. So we get back, and I guess we have to talk to Pringle to figure out who he looks like. I didn't realize he looked so much like Peter Dinklage.
Me neither. Till they put up the side by side. I was like, oh,
That's
okay.
kind of that's kind of scary, but yay. Okay, he's cool with it. Um, let's see. Oh, Shep says something about them back in college that Shep wouldn't leave his girlfriend
You're
alone
right.
with
I wouldn't.
Pringle. Then Craig, ever the fire starter, jumps in on him and asks him, "Why'd you leave your kids?" Really?
I was like, Craig, no.
Craig. But Pringle gives a really good explanation.
Mm-hmm.
He said he tried. He tried to make it work in San Diego, but he got a great opportunity, which would be for the betterment of his kids, to come back east. And besides, at that time, in the space he was in, he needed the support of his family, like
Yeah.
emotional support.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. And I love it that he clapped back at Craig and said, "Don't come for my kids."
I agree because like he's tried, it just was not working, and then
Mhm.
when it's not working for you to stay in a place that's not working, it can put you in a place of like, what do I do? Like it can bring your mental state down because you
Mhm.
keep trying to make it work and it's not working. You think you're doing something wrong. It's like, well, no, you're just not meant to be here at this time. So he
Mhm.
realized that, got an opportunity. Like, you know what? I can go back east where my family is, have a great opportunity, and better my life. I'm gonna do it, and he did it. He did exactly what he was supposed to do.
And you know what? I have a feeling it helped improve his relationship with Heidi, his ex-wife, and therefore improve their co-parenting because they
You're
are
great.
really cool. Yeah. So I can't find fault with him taking an opportunity to do something better for his kids. I can't find
Mm-mm.
fault with that. Let's see. They also mention how Heidi looks like Madison and
But
vice
we've always said
versa.
that though.
Yes, I thought that was just me and you, but Andy brought that up. Kudos for him. Okay, so next we jump over to Austin.
Before we do that, can we talk about
Oh,
Andy? Why
what?
does he look so much better in this reunion than like the housewives? Like in this reunion, he was lively. He was kind of out of the mess. He wasn't. He was asking the messy questions, but he was enjoyable
Hmm.
versus
I
the Potomac
think
reunion.
I think he probably watched the season. He probably knows all of their messiness. Like he actually did the research instead of having somebody do
Hmm.
the stuff for him and then not study his notes. I think he actually took the time to watch some or all of the season and really be invested in like their mess. I
Hmm.
guess it makes more sense to him. He was disengaged and not interested in anything in Potomac, and it really showed. So
Hmm.
maybe for this reunion, he listened to the people who critiqued him and try to do better.
He did. He was 1,000% better. Like,
Yes.
like you barely knew he was there,
Mhm.
except when he actually asked a question or like, "Hey, this is not your segment. Stay out of it." Like, hey, oh, you're enjoyable. Where was this in Potomac? Interesting.
I loved his interactions with Craig though, because Craig was just going off and
Hmm. Craig cannot be stopped.
sometimes he had to be like a little parent to Craig and just like, hey, whoa, gear it down a bit. But yeah, infinitely better
Hmm.
than the last reunion. I'll
Agreed.
give
I
him
just, I
that.
just wanted to, I just wanted to point that out because to me it
Hmm.
was huge. I think that's why the reunion flowed so well. I was like, is there more?
Yeah, because with Potomac, I don't know about you, I left angry. This reunion,
Mhm.
I did not.
Right. I think with the Potomac reunion, I just felt he was very dismissive and way too. He was angry. Like
Hmm.
he was upset, and you could feel like he was upset, and that showed. Where this reunion, he was like more playful, and he was just like kind of sat back and let them do their thing. So I was like, "Good job, Andy. Like you're trying
Hmm.
to redeem yourself, Andy. Somebody must have told you, look, your talent, get it together."
Maybe he listened to the Twitters. You never know.
Hmm.
He did get a lot of backlash, though. You
Oh yeah,
can't ignore that kind of feedback.
no, good job, Andy.
Yeah. Good job. Give a thumbs up if you thought that Andy finally did his job. Oh, frig. All right, so now we get to Austin, and he's still bitter and alone. Um, you know, his posture is just negative. Everything that comes out of his mouth is negative.
Mhm.
He's sitting in a cesspool of like darkness. And I love
Wow,
it. I love it. I just love it. He deserves it. He deserves it. This isn't his first go round with Madison. And like you keep going back.
exactly.
That deserves you.
I can't sympathize with you when you put yourself in these positions.
Hmm. And this is where he makes the comment that Patricia just wants to pawn Madison off to the next drunk once she got on the show. And I think someone commented and said that Madison used him to get on the show. And
Yeah,
so now she's moving on to the next
right.
person that she can get to. That's probably Craig. Craig was going in on her hard.
Right. Craig can't stand her.
Mm. So next they asked Pringle if he broke the guy code.
He didn't answer too quickly. He was like, I think somebody answered for him, didn't they?
Craig jumped in and said something
Craig jumped in,
about
right? Okay.
it was weird or something.
Right.
Um, and Madison says that Pringle told her 3 days ago that he was falling for her. So he's still dibbling and dabbling,
Yeah.
pussyfooting around with her.
Right.
Ew. Ew. He did break guy code, but like I think he has a pass because he just got there. Austin's not really his friend. It's only Shep, and Shep wasn't messing with Madison. Like if he had went after Taylor, then I would say, yeah, he broke guy
Hmm.
code. But Austin isn't his friend,
No,
so
that's what
she's
I had to
she's
think about that
redeemed.
for a minute. I'm like, did he? I'm like, well, y'all not friends though. You're coworkers. So,
Just barely. He just got to the office. How is he supposed to know that she wasn't, something free in the break room?
and Patricia's like, I'm gonna need you to go get Madison, okay? And you don't go against Patricia. You say yes, ma'am, and
And
keep it
then
moving.
Madison was given off signals, like, or was I imagining that?
No, she was. She
It was
was.
just very confusing for a newbie coming in what was going on.
Right.
So I will give him a pass
Because
this
he's like,
one
well,
time.
he's like, I'm giving it. She's giving it back to me. Okay,
Mhm.
she's down with it. Let's go.
Exactly. And he ain't looking for nothing serious. He just want
No,
a little something, something, something.
just
Wet the whistle.
like once or twice a week, maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe he could get a contract with her like how she has with Patricia.
Right.
Um, so let's see. Oh, I have a note here. Craig is drunk. That's my note.
Yeah.
Craig is so plastered. Oh my lord. Next we go and we see Madison showing off her mommy makeover. So she's gotten her breasts lifted and implants in. And what else does she get done?
Her
Oh,
belly
she
button.
does
Her
something
belly
with her
button.
belly button. But
Yeah.
the only time that you get your belly button done is when you do an around the world, which is like a body lift.
Mm-hmm.
Because Wendy Williams talked about hers. And
Mm.
basically they cut off the fat off of your belly and take away your belly button, so they have to create a new one. And I didn't think she was that bad to warrant
No,
something like that.
I didn't think she needed it.
I could be wrong. If anyone in here has plastic surgery background or anything like that, please tell us in the comments section why she would need to get her belly button reconstructed. Just want to know. So yeah, so then there were some comments. Did you hear the comments? I think it was Craig. Craig was just throwing out everybody business. How she wouldn't let Austin see her belly while having relations because she was so conscious of it. How bad was it? Maybe she just has some stretch marks or loose skin from her
Yeah,
pregnancy.
yeah. When you're like having kids, I could see it. To be honest, you know what I mean?
Hmm. So
Like,
then she was really self-conscious about this. Good for
hmm
her for doing something that makes her feel better about herself.
that's my thing. Like, if it makes you feel better and something you feel you need to do, I'm all for. I'm say do it. Do what
Mhm.
makes you feel good and what's going to make you feel confident. Don't worry about what other people think. It doesn't matter.
Mhm. So Craig makes another comment. He says that Madison is lying, that she knows she slept with Austin. He saw the text messages, and then he says that they just slept together.
I was like, alrighty then.
What? This is why I say Austin deserves everything that he gets.
Yeah,
Really. He never
I
learns the lesson.
he doesn't, and I'm like, you keep going back, and you give her license to treat you this way, so I can't feel bad for you.
I thought it was sweet that Catherine tried to counsel Austin during the fight between Madison and Craig over who slept with who and when. She's
Hmm.
like, I know how you feel. Because she has had that back and forth
Yep.
relationship with Thomas. And I hope he realizes that's not a good boat to be in. I know.
No.
Oy, Um, then Craig gets into the Kristen Cavallari, Jay Butler, who's friends with who and who slid into the DMs. This was just messy.
It was hilarious.
But I noticed no names were bleeped out.
Right. I think that's because that was already in the news, so it
Oh
was
dear.
known. It was known. That was known.
So then, based on our ripped from the headlines, if Jay Cutler could be eliminated, then it must have been A-Rod whose name was bleeped out of part one, allegedly.
Yeah, that's the only conclusion
Ooh,
you can make. That's the only conclusion you can make off of that. You know what I mean?
wow. But I think Craig calls her trash or a
Hmm.
trash can or something like that, and Catherine took offense to that. She said it's a trigger for her. She doesn't like anyone being called trash.
Right.
Hmm, good for you, Catherine. For now.
Agreed.
For now.
Not for now.
For now. Andy asked Madison, like, how long was she married? Um, and she says for 4.5 years, but she was with her ex-husband from when she was 18. So I guess this was like her high school sweetheart or
Hmm.
something.
That's what I have to get.
Yeah. She also says, like, with regards to Austin, she says that her son doesn't really like him and that Austin only wanted to play house when the cameras were rolling.
Ouch.
I know. He didn't come off well. And as much as
Mm-mm.
Craig tried to attack Madison, um, Madison held her own. Like she had her own ammunition to come after these guys. And another like I could not feel anything for Austin because he let Craig do the fighting for him. He is so pathetic in my eyes right
And
now.
Craig pointed that out. He's like, dude, like he's responsible. He's responsible for this. He's like, there's nothing more I can do with this.
Yeah, like I he was saying nothing throughout all of this.
Mm-mm.
And I just couldn't get it. He does try to say, like, he accuses Madison of gaslighting him. That's the best you could come with? She gaslights me?
Right.
Shep says to her he wants to hear her side, but she turns around and says something like, "I've been nice to you. Don't make that stop," kind of thing.
Right. I was like, okay.
But of course, Craig jumps in and says, "Are you threatening him?" Craig!
Craig cannot help himself.
Craig. You know what? This this reunion, like his law school degree came into full play because he was like the perfect defense attorney. He was going in with the jabs. He had all of his backup. He didn't care about her text messages or what she had to say. Craig, I think your parents could be proud of spending that money on your wasted degree.
Stop it. Not wasted. Not wasted.
Yes. Yes.
He'll probably use his law degree when negotiating contracts.
True. Okay.
So,
Semi-wasted.
right. But
Oh my god. Okay, so let's see what else happened here. They go back to Austin. I don't know why. Oh, they talk about his beer business.
mm-hmm.
And they congratulate him on getting into supermarkets, and he just explains that once he switched to cans, everything changed because he was then able to get it into supermarkets,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a nice distribution deal. um let's see, Danny, who also works for a distributor, she vouches for him and says that it's so hard to get any
Mm-hmm.
new liquor or beer or anything out, um, in mass production. So she does give him kudos for his hustle at keeping at it and
And
getting to where he's gotten.
Craig said, Craig's all, look, no one here can walk into a supermarket and buy their product. Only Austin can. I'm like, well,
Hmm.
yep.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of a little bit rude, but a little bit fair when like how Madison was belittling Austin, and then Craig's like, you rent a booth in
Hmm.
a beauty salon. So
Yep.
what are you talking about? Like, who are you?
Hmm.
I'm like, well, in her world, that is a business model. Your chair is your business, but I get what he was saying. Like like Austin owns his product. Like he is in stores everywhere. You are in one shop.
But I didn't even realize that all she was doing was renting the chair. I thought she had a salon
Same,
like Chelsea. Like, didn't Chelsea
right?
own her salon?
Mm-hmm.
I thought she owned the salon and then did private customers. Like, I was
Same.
really respecting her. I didn't realize she was just and there's no disparaging just renting a chair, but I thought the way how she talks about other people, that she was a bit more established.
That's the way she came across. Um, so let's see. Oh, she did. Okay, she just recently started her own salon.
Okay, so at least she's using the money that she's getting
Right.
from this towards getting her
Yeah.
business. Now it makes sense. Right, but Austin was growing his business too.
Mhm.
I just feel like she didn't understand the beverage business and was unfairly critiquing him,
Exactly. Because it's
you
interesting. So
know?
where I'm getting is from December 16th, 2020. So this is pretty recent.
Mm.
Yeah. In addition to filming Southern Charm, Madison has her own hair salon in Charleston, South Carolina. After years of doing hair and makeup for web, TV, and print, she started her own salon. Madison is someone who has no problem putting in hard work, and it's paid off literally.
Good for
Um, yeah, it's great. This is it's a blurb, so um, it's not an article or anything. So that's what came up when I put does Madison own her hair salon? That's what popped up. So in case people want to know where I got this.
Well, if you want me to add it to the description, I can.
Um,
Well, I also want to touch on the interaction between Leva and Austin during this segment because when he was talking about his business, he also talked about a deal that he's working on with Leva's husband. And
mhm,
Leva, interjected and said, "I'm not too sure about that deal because, until you can control your emotions and start behaving in a different manner, nobody, meaning her husband, are going to be doing business with you,
mhm. He is too emotional. I agree.
you
And
know?
in the business world, you have to understand like, look, you're not always gonna like everything someone says, and you just need to like take it in and reflect and move on.
But quite honestly, the way how he flashes out and rages, like, no good businessman should be doing that. I know you're on a
No,
reality show, but people who are doing business with you are seeing that.
exactly. And also, what I can tell is he doesn't have like a mentor. Like, who's mentoring this person? Because if you had a mentor, they would tell you like, you can't act this way.
Hmm.
You can't behave this way. It's inappropriate.
Well, Madison takes another dig at him and says that he could do, Austin could do more for his business. Like, he could hustle more. I think she needs to stop commenting on his business. You're
Agreed.
not involved with him anymore.
Exactly. But she was asked a question, she answered, so it's a fair game question. And I think she's just frustrated that she does see things in him. She does see potential in him, but she just doesn't feel like he works hard enough. That's all. Like she thinks her work ethic is the way to go, and maybe his business doesn't require him to um work the way she works. He probably has to work differently. He's probably the person who gets up at 9, doesn't go to bed till midnight, whereas she may get up at 6 and stop work at 8. It's just
Hmm.
depends on your business.
And that's why I said I think she needs to get to understand a little bit more about the beverage industry before making such harsh judgments because it can come across as petty,
Mhm.
um, especially if you're saying it over and over and over
Yeah,
again. And you have someone like Danny who's in the industry who's just explained it to you and you're still digging at him.
agreed.
Let it go, girl.
Mhm.
Um, Madison also says that she's very masculine and has a tendency to pick feminine men.
Yeah, I was like, well,
See, this is the type of dig that I have no problem with. It
I was
doesn't say
like,
much about Pringle and Austin, really.
no, but they didn't. But Austin and Pringle, but Madison and Pringle didn't work out. He's when she said that, he's like, that's why we didn't work out
Mm.
because he's kind of like that alpha male type, and she's the alpha female. So yeah, that's not gonna work. But someone like Austin, who um who's a little bit more docile, that works for her. That's what she likes. She likes them a little, like she likes to be like Andy said. You like to have the upper hand in the relationship. She's like, yep.
But Pringle's still nibbling at it. It's like she's the ultimate catnip for these two kitty cats,
But he's
Austin
not.
and Pringle.
But there's a difference. Austin's looking for that relationship. Pringle's just like, look, I just want to come through real quick. He's not looking
But
at her long term.
I don't think she's looking at any of them like that. I think she will dibble and dabble with any of these two men. I don't think she sees either of them as long term.
Oh no, no. The problem is Austin sees her as long term.
Well, he's an idiot. He's an idiot.
Well, just a smidge.
Austin says that he admits that he didn't watch the season until Shep forced him to. Was it Shep or Craig? I can't remember
Shep,
which one. Yeah.
Shep.
And he realized how badly Madison treats him. And he calls her a monster and says that he's done.
I was like, okay, moving on. I'm
Such
like,
a
next,
liar. This
next.
is
Like,
what I mean. Like he's in a pit of darkness all by himself. You have let this girl turn you, she's turned you out. Really. You're pathetic. She might be a monster, but you're pathetic. Sorry. Then they hop over to Catherine, and they talk about her living with Thomas, and they want to know how long it was that she was staying with him, the cast reaction to seeing him during those first episodes, and she has a huge admission. She hit it again last January with Thomas. Ew.
but we all knew though. We all knew that wasn't gonna last.
I think at one point Catherine warns somebody, I think it's Madison and Austin, don't be like me having sex with Thomas after the reunion last time.
That was
What?
hilarious.
Catherine. So yeah, apparently she stayed with Thomas for about 3 months, and she did have
Hmm.
sex with him one time last January. She admits that she's never met Thomas's, I guess, fiance. I guess that's been released or confirmed, or the new baby girl. Hmm.
Mm. That was interesting to me, but not
Very.
surprising.
And we also find out that he's trying to sue for, I guess, full custody because he's moving away.
Hmm.
What's going through his mind? Why? Like, I don't think Catherine is in a bad emotional state right now. She's got a paycheck. Like, she
Hmm.
can take care of the kids. They can continue doing the 50-50.
Right.
Why now?
Yeah, it just seems odd that you would want custody. What's just because you're moving? That's your choice.
Hmm. You know, Thomas can be real petty when he wants to, flexing
True.
his bank account because he can. Um, then they start talking about Caleb. Caleb Ravenel is her new boyfriend.
Hmm.
She says that he's very supportive, and she now understands what being part of a team is, because that's how he is with her. They've been together for about 6 months.
Hmm.
Then the interesting part comes. Andy is like, well, the viewers question the timing of your relationship.
Hey, it had to be said.
Oh my God. Well, Caleb is a nice guy. He's African American. Craig drops in that he has the two L's in his last name, Ravenel, which means that he is descendant from slaves that Thomas's family owns,
Hmm.
or owned at one point in their history. Um, Catherine says that Caleb about her emoji issue. Caleb
Hmm.
didn't think it was racist, but he explained it to her how it could be interpreted that way and how it could anger some people.
Right.
If he did that, how are you still clueless in this reunion?
She doesn't know. She's not articulate, and that's a problem. If I'm being
Yeah.
completely just flat honest, she's not
Mhm.
articulate. She doesn't know how to express herself properly, and that's what gets her into trouble.
And we see an example of that because she tries to explain the whole situation with the emoji, but Catherine has a habit of glossing over things
Yes.
and leaving out key components for others to understand. So
Yeah.
Leva had to jump in and fully explain it. And Andy had to let her know, there are parts of this that are relevant to the story that we needed to hear in order to understand fully what happened.
Exactly.
And again, kudos for Andy for showing up to this reunion because that was important.
Like I said, I give him credit. This was 1,000 times better than what we got from Potomac.
Hmm. And I
He,
think, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say he killed this reunion.
He did. He did. He actually played the good part of a host. Not just asking the stupid questions, but actually listening to what was going on around him. Um, and I think with Leva in this part, she finally got across what she's been trying to say the entire season, and
Hmm.
the rest of them actually heard it,
Agreed.
you
One
know?
hundred percent. 100% agree. And that's all she was. That's all she really wanted. That's
You
it.
know? And Pringle, of course, has to start with the STFU thing. And she goes, well, you know what? When you don't like listen, then that's what you get. And she ends it off and she says that it's not her voice that's going to make the change, it's
Hmm.
their voices that will spark the change. And I think it was finally hitting home. You know, people of color have been begging for change for centuries, and where has it gotten us? Change is only made when the people who sit in the privilege decide to make that change.
Right. And I have to give credit to Shep for being
Mhm.
finally being honest of saying. I think I touched on this earlier.
Yeah.
That he was just scared. He was scared of cancel culture. He was scared, like this, to take that step. I appreciate him for being honest, and then
Mhm.
also Austin for actually taking in what Leva said, and really understanding he needed to work on himself. And
Mhm.
that's when she was like, "Thank you. That's all I really wanted from everybody."
Mhm.
And what kind of struck me was like no one else said the same thing. I was
Mm.
waiting for people like, you know what, Austin's right. I'm gonna like work on myself. Um, but no one else said that, and I thought that was kind of interesting.
Pringle is still sitting in his privilege. Trust and
Correct.
know. He doesn't think he has to fix anything with himself. Um, Austin, I mean, it took a text exchange for him to get it. When they were having the riots in Charleston, he
Hmm.
texted her and said, "I hope everything's okay with your
Hmm.
businesses." And she wrote him back, "I can replace a window, but I can't replace a human being." It took that for it to bring it home to you.
Hmm. But this is from my perspective, that's what happens when people are so used to their way of life. They're so
Mhm.
used to being around people who have their same thought process. And it takes like until something happens and hearing from someone who has a different perspective from a different background, it doesn't hit
Mhm.
until then a lot of times.
Yeah.
But it's good that it did. I really liked the exchange they had.
Mhm. And, although I know you said, like, only 2 of them, um, got it, but it's 2 more than what we had before. I'll take
Yes.
it. I'll take it because Shep says something key. The only thing that they can do is vote. You've got to go and vote and put the right people in place in order to affect change. So to
Mhm.
me, that says, okay, you're owning up to your family's history. Wow, Shep is really matured. I'm gonna give him
Yes.
his credit. He owned up to his family's history. He owned up that he was scared of cancel culture. He's maturing enough to be in a stable monogamous relationship. He's cut down on all the drinking. He says, voting is are your right, and exercise it. Like, he's really evolved. It took 7 seasons, but he's really evolved. And he's owning up to who he is as a flawed individual, like how all of us are.
Exactly. So I'm just happy to see that.
Yeah. Um, it seems like they take a little break because this is where Catherine. Oh no, wait, they don't take the break because Catherine apologizes to Danny at this point. So I guess she's affected too.
Hmm.
And but Danny still explains to her because she apologizes for the wrong thing, and Danny explains to her,
Right.
um, I'm not pissed, by that. What I'm pissed at is that you told Leva that you were alone, and I've always been there for you over the years. So that's what I was pissed about.
Hmm.
Durr. She's said that to you several times already, but let's hope it gets through. Um, Andy asked Leva if it's like weird to like she left Iran, grew up in Canada, and then moved to Charleston. And what was it like for a person of color from a different culture to be in Charleston? And she said, um, it was weird to be in a city um, where the oppressive figures were everywhere.
Hmm.
And she doesn't mean, like she says, you know it's all around the world, um but it was just a little odd for her that it was just so in your face, I guess.
All right.
and
That's so
and
prevalent.
yeah, and normalized, I guess,
Right.
where
Like
she
it's
is in
part of
Charleston.
everyday life.
Yeah. So that was good to hear, like, her viewpoint. What else? Um,
For me, I think that was pretty much it.
well,
Was there anything
what
else?
about, yes, there's one more thing that I made a note on, where Catherine says that she has to be more cognizant of her family's past. Because they asked her about the statue coming down
Yes.
of her great, 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 whoever grandfather. And she admitted that she needs to be more cognizant. And I think that said a lot for Catherine, because I don't think a few seasons ago she would have said that.
Agreed. I think being with Caleb helped her because she now understands a little bit more. She'll probably do some more digging now. Digging she probably didn't want to do, but now in
Mhm,
the climate she has to do. And
mhm.
her being with Caleb, who was owned apparently by Thomas's family back in the day, I think that, how can I put it? It's in her face now, if that makes sense. Like
Well,
that
yeah.
part of history is like literally in her face, but it's the opposite side from her family.
Yeah, I mean, she's in a relationship with an African American gentleman whose family was
Mhm.
owned by her children's father. She also has to come into like, she has to have a reckoning with her past as well, because that statue that they took down of her ancestor was the vice president of the Confederacy. Like, she carries a heavy weight of her own past, maternal and fraternal, plus her children's ancestry as well.
Mhm.
And you have to be cognizant of that if you're in a relationship with a person of color. You just
Right.
do.
And I
Um,
think he gets that now. Now I don't think
mhm.
she would have gotten that a year or two ago.
Yeah, and this is a great opportunity for her to grow and mature, you
Mhm.
know? Hopefully Caleb will be a good thing for her. So far, it seems like it.
And he's been around the group for, like Craig said, they've known him for like 10 years. So
Mhm.
he's not
Mhm.
new.
Yeah.
So I hope they last, and it would be nice to see them next season, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
This reunion kind of changed my mind on some people. So
I don't
yeah,
know.
it
We
did change my mind.
also see a private moment with Catherine and Leva, where Catherine actually admits to what you said. She's not good with words. And she says that she's sorry. And Leva, they have a good conversation, a grown conversation, which I appreciated.
I mean, I wish they could have had these conversations during the season
Yeah.
because the conversations they were having here were so good.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I really hope it continues.
Mhm. The show ends with Andy going around and asking everyone, um, like, how has this year changed them? How has it affected them or whatever? Um, Danny says that Leva enlightened her. Pringle says pass. Um, Austin says he wants to take control of what is his happiness and his narrative, which is very good. I thought
Yes,
that was a good comment to make. Madison says she now knows her worth and what she deserves in a relationship. I give side eye to that.
right.
Um, Catherine says when conflicts happen, she doesn't want to get defensive. Um, I think that's a good start for her,
Mhm.
you know. Shep says one word, Taylor. Aww. Craig says that he's hungry for more. He wants more money and he's going to stick up for friends. Craig.
I will say this, and people may not like it, but Craig is a good friend.
Mhm.
I would want Craig in my corner.
Yes.
I would want Craig in my corner, especially
Austin needs
drunk,
to thank him.
especially
Yes,
drunk
Austin
Craig.
needs to thank him because he went balls to the wall for Austin in this reunion. Austin said nothing for himself with regards to Madison. He needs to buy him a bottle of something very expensive.
Exactly.
Leva says that she's grateful for everything for everything and because each day is not guaranteed. So that's very nice. And they pop back to Pringle, who says, try not hitting on other guys' girls. Next.
Right. Next.
And I guess that's it.
Yeah, it was very good reunion.
Yeah.
Much better than the season.
Hmm.
Now, I'm kind of looking forward to what happens next season now, just to see what evolves out of this reunion. Can they carry this reunion over to the next season? Is what I want to know.
So you don't think they need the cash shakeup anymore?
No, we'll talk about that. We're
Okay.
gonna yeah we're gonna do a video about that. So and what I'll probably some people you'll be surprised about. So we'll do that.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, yeah, I the reunion was way better than the entire season. No lie. It tied up some loose ends. Some people have grown and matured. Others need a lot of help. Was I satisfied? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
same.
All right, then. If you saw it differently, if you have any comments on this, please put them in the comment section below. If you like this review, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you are alerted every time we put out new content. And most importantly, tell a friend, have them join the conversation. We want to hear more from you. Until next time, bye.
Bye.